Welcome to this Trend Guards Explainer. We are here to give you a completely hype-free, verified breakdown of the rapidly escalating geopolitical battle over the regulation of open-weight AI models. Right now, the global software engineering community is on absolute high alert. The rules governing exactly who gets to build, download, and deploy the world's most advanced AI are shifting right beneath our feet, and honestly, the stakes couldn't be higher. So today, we're cutting through the noise. We are separating confirmed policy from industry rumors so you can understand exactly what is happening between the US, China, and the developers of frontier AI.
Let's jump right in by tackling the urgent question that's been completely dominating tech discussions lately. Is open source AI actually facing a strict regulatory deadline in the United States within the next 6 months? To answer this, we've got to look at a highly credible, though currently unverified, industry leak that essentially sparked this whole countdown.
In a July 12th essay for AI Weekly, prominent researcher Nathan Lambert dropped a bit of a bombshell. He reported that the industry is staring down a 6-month countdown. Basically, unconfirmed sources are suggesting a US regulatory ban, or at least an indefinite delay, is imminent for open-weight models that sit meaningfully above a specific capability tier. We're talking about models matching the unreleased GPT-5.5 or ZPU's GLM 5.2. Now, if this leak turns out to be accurate, any product roadmap relying on frontier open weights is going to need some serious contingency planning. But again, we have to stress this is an unconfirmed report, it is not an official government mandate.
To figure out this potential timeline and see where the regulatory winds are actually blowing, we absolutely must separate leaked rumors from confirmed actions. It's been a crazy few weeks. On June 2nd, the US issued a confirmed executive order on AI security. Fast forward to July 8th, and the White House actually had to publicly deny rumors regarding OpenAI's GPT 5.6 release. And then, just a few days later on July 12th, that Lambert leak about an open model ban hit the community.
The crucial thing here is understanding how the government is communicating its authority right now. Take a recent Axios rumor, for example. Axios claimed an anonymous source said the White House gave OpenAI a green light to publicly release its GPT 5.6 model. But, according to Gizmodo, the White House fired back with a firm official denial. A spokesperson literally stated, "No such permission is required or granted," adding that the administration does not provide approvals for private companies to release AI models. That official stance really contradicts the idea of an impending mandatory licensing regime.
So what did the June executive order actually do? Based on an analysis by the global law firm McDermott, Will & Schultz, the confirmed text actually relies heavily on voluntary cooperation. Yes, the EL mandates a classified benchmarking process within 60 days, and it sets a threshold for a covered frontier model. But here's the key takeaway. It establishes a voluntary 30-day early access framework for government testing. The order explicitly disclaims mandatory licensing or pre-clearance requirements to release new models. Because while the US is wrestling with these voluntary frameworks, China is actively exploring its own aggressive export controls. According to a July report from BigGo Finance, China's Ministry of Commerce has been leading talks with major tech firms, companies like Alibaba and ByteDance, about restricting overseas access to the country's most advanced AI models. And ironically enough, this is being driven by deep cybersecurity concerns that mirror what we're seeing in the US. They are specifically wary of highly capable American cybersecurity models, like Anthropic's Mythos.
And inside China, things are moving incredibly fast. They've swiftly implemented interim rules banning what they call anthropomorphic AI, basically services that mimic human personality or offer sustained emotional interaction. The real-world impact of this was immediate. BigGo Finance reported that tech giants were forced to just abruptly shut down popular features. Alibaba suspended human-like conversation agents on its Qwen platform on July 10th, and then ByteDance terminated the agent feature on its Dubal app just a few days later.
Here's where it gets really interesting. In stark contrast to those domestic restrictions we just talked about, Chinese developers are aggressively targeting the global open source market, and the data shows it's working. According to market data from the AI routing platform OpenRouter, cited by the Economic Times, the combined usage share of leading closed models from Google, Anthropic, and OpenAI dropped dramatically. They went from 55% of the market in January down to just 33% by June. Developers are clearly flocking to high-performing, lower-cost open models, and Chinese firms are stepping right in to fill that demand.
ZPU AI is really leading the charge here. In an internal letter to staff on July 11th, co-founder Tang Ji announced this radical 2-year touch-high strategy. He boldly committed the company to foundational artificial general intelligence research, prioritizing that over short-term commercial app revenue. He wrote, "The wave has come. ZPU will be the one who meets the crest of the wave and reaches upward. Not reaching the summit is failure."
And you know, they aren't just talking, they are actually shipping. Executing this exact strategy, Zippo released their flagship GLM 5.2 model. This is not some lightweight tool. Benchmarks claim it matches GPT 5.5 capabilities, and they made it available completely open source for free for global commercial download. So just think about the timing. Right as rumors swirl about the US potentially locking down open weights, China is intentionally flooding the global market with state-of-the-art open source software. So we have to ask, what does software ban in the West actually make the world any safer? To understand this, we need to look at the physical infrastructure. A recent paper by researcher Vinicius Santana Gomes highlights a massive structural inequality. Data from Epoch AI shows that the vast majority of global AI supercomputer performance is concentrated heavily in just two countries, the US and China. Because the rest of the world just doesn't have the advanced compute infrastructure to train massive models from scratch, downloading pre-trained open-weight models is basically the only viable pathway for the Global South to build sovereign AI capacity.
This entire dynamic creates what Gomez defines as the open-weight paradox. The research argues that restricting access to open-weight models in the West without providing governed alternatives doesn't actually eliminate security risks. Instead, it just displaces them. It pushes global demand away from auditable Western platforms and straight toward unsupervised offshore providers, illegal hardware supply chains, and totally unregulated shadow AI.
So if a software ban is leaky, what is the verified alternative? Well, the academic research points to defense-in-depth hardware governance. Instead of playing this endless game of whack-a-mole trying to ban digital files that can be copied in a second, proposals like FlexHeg, which stands for Flexible Hardware-Enabled Guarantees, embed programmable chip-level attestation mechanisms directly into AI accelerators. Think of it like a digital passport that's hardwired into the hardware itself. It verifies compliance right at the source of the compute power, meaning security is built into the physical chips, regardless of whether the software running on them is open or closed.
We've covered a ton of ground today, so let's lock in exactly what trend guards can confirm as absolute fact right now. The US government is implementing a voluntary 30-day early access testing framework, not a mandatory license. China is actively enforcing strict domestic rules against anthropomorphic AI, and Zippo AI has successfully released its frontier GLM 5.2 model to the global open source community. The massive unknown hanging over the entire industry is that Nathan Lambert leak. Will the US actually enact a hard legal ban on open weights above the GPT 5.5 threshold in the next 6 months?
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative question to wrap up this explainer. If the United States attempts to unilaterally ban frontier open source software before those chip-level hardware safeguards are actually ready, will it successfully protect national security? Or will it simply force the global developer ecosystem completely out of Western regulatory reach, basically handing the architectural future of the AI industry directly to overseas competitors who are giving their best models away for free? That is exactly the story we'll be tracking. Thank you so much for joining this Trend Guards Explainer. We're going to keep monitoring the facts, verifying the claims, and bringing you the clarity you need. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.